So students, welcome to this lecture. Today we are going to see about the wave function psi and its properties. Now, what does the wave function psi represent? What is its physical significance? What are the characteristics of a normalized wave function? What is a well-behaved wave function psi and on orthonormal wave function psi? We are going to see all these characteristics of psi in this particular lecture. So first we will see the physical significance of wave function psi. We know that the Schrodinger's wave equation is given by minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square psi plus v of psi is equal to e of psi. Now here the wave function psi, it is a wave function associated with the wave packet, which in turn is associated with the moving particle. We have seen that a beam of material particle behaves like a wave. So each particle has a wave associated with it, and when these particles move in a particular direction, the waves overlap to form the wave packet, and this wave packet is represented or it is denoted by the wave function psi. So the wave function psi represents the wave packet which is associated with the moving particles. We have seen this just now. Now, the wave function psi as such does not have any meaning. The wave function psi does not have any meaning. But if you calculate the quantity mod of psi whole square. Now how is mod of psi square given by? It is given by psi star into psi, where this psi star is the complex conjugate of psi. And you know how a complex conjugate is obtained. If a certain function has imaginary part I, then by changing each I by minus I or it and vice versa, we can get the complex conjugate. So psi star here is the complex conjugate of the wave function psi, and if you take the product psi star into psi, it gives you mod of psi whole square. This mod of psi whole square, it has got some physical meaning, and it represents the probability density. That is the probability per unit volume of finding a particle in a unit volume surrounding a point in the space. That particular probability density is given by mod of psi whole square, which is equal to psi star into psi. If you take simply psi, then it doesn't have any meaning. But mod of psi whole square, it gives the probability density. So mod of psi whole square gives the probability of finding the particle in a unit volume surrounding a point in a space. If you multiply it by a small arbitrary volume dv, means if you take the quantity mod of psi whole square into dv, this is equal to psi star into psi dv. What does this particular quantity give? It gives the probability of finding the particle in the given volume dv. which is surrounding that particular point. So mod of psi whole square dV, it gives the probability of finding the particle in a small volume dV surrounding a particular point in the space. So next, now since the particle, if you are having a particle and the particle exists somewhere in the space, then the probability of finding the particle somewhere in the space is always there. It is having a finite value. And if you consider the whole space ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, then the integral minus infinity to infinity psi star psi into dv, this is always equal to 1. Why? Because if the particle exists, then there is always a probability that you will find it somewhere in the space. So if integration minus infinity to infinity psi star into psi dv is equal to 1, it means the particle exists somewhere in the space. And if the same integral minus infinity to infinity psi star psi dv is equal to 0, if that value comes out to be 0, it means the particle does not exist in the space. So if this simply means that if mod of psi whole square is equal to 1, and if is integral minus infinity to infinity is equal to 1 over a certain volume dv, then the particle exists. And if that value comes out to be 0, the particle does not exist. Now Schrodinger's wave equation for a free particle. So first we will see what is a free particle. A free particle is a particle on which the force acting is 0. So if the forces acting on the particle are 0, then for such a particle the potential energy is also equal to 0. So V is equal to 0. Capital V, which represents the potential energy, that is equal to 0. So any particle on which the forces acting are 0, or in other words, the potential energy of that particle is 0, that is V is equal to 0 for that particle, then it is a free particle. And if the particle is a free particle, then the Schrodinger's wave equation for a free particle is given by, it is given by, you have to just put capital V is equal to 0. So for a free particle, the Schrodinger's wave equation has the form minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square psi upon del x square, it is equal to I into h cross del psi upon del t. This is for one dimension along x-axis. So what is the for a free particle? The potential energy function V is equal to 0. So the Schrodinger's equation takes this form. Now what is a normalized wave function? Let us see what is a normalized wave function. Now if a particle exists in the space, then we have seen that the integral minus infinity to infinity psi star psi dx dy dz, dx dy dz is simply equal to dv. So this is equal to 1. Now this particular condition is called the normalization condition. Means if the integral has value, integral of minus infinity to infinity psi star psi dv, if this is having value equal to 1, then that condition is called the normalization condition. Now If integration minus infinity to infinity psi star psi dv or dx dy dz is equal to 1 is satisfied for a particular wave function psi, then the wave function psi and its complex conjugate psi star both are normalized wave function. Both will be normalized wave function. But the wave function may not be always normalized. In such condition, the wave function psi, it can be normalized by multiplying it by certain constant a. So if a wave function is not normalized, you can make it normalized, but you have to multiply it by a certain constant a. Now then in that case, suppose that you are multiplying it by a certain constant a, then a into psi. This is a normalized wave function and the solution of Schrodinger's wave equation a psi. So and it is also a solution of the Schrodinger's wave equation. Means psi is the solution of Schrodinger's wave equation. If you multiply it by a certain constant, then that wave function, another wave function which is obtained, a into psi, that is also a solution of Schrodinger's wave equation. Then in that case, a is called the normalization constant. It is called normalization constant because by multiplying it to the wave function psi, you can make the wave function psi normalized if it was initially not normalized. Now for example, take an example. Suppose that integration minus infinity to infinity psi star psi dx dy dz is equal to n, capital N. It is not equal to 1. If it is equal to 1, then we can say that the normalization condition is satisfied and wave functions psi and psi star are normalized. But now it is equal to capital N, so the wave functions psi and psi star are not equal. They are not normalized. Now in order to get normalized wave function psi or psi star, we should have 1 on the right hand side. So we divide by capital N on both the sides, left hand side and right hand side, so that the right hand side becomes equal to 1. So I get 1 by n integration minus infinity to infinity psi star psi dx dy dz is equal to 1. Now see, right hand side has become 1, so the normalization condition is now satisfied. Now I can write this above equation as minus infinity to infinity psi star divided by under root of n into psi divided by under root of n dv is equal to 1. So now see, I have got another wave function. Our initial wave function psi and psi star were not normalized, but the new wave functions which are obtained by multiplying by a certain constant. Here constant is 1 upon under root of n. So new wave functions obtained are psi star divided by root n and psi divided by root n. Both these wave function are normalized wave function. They satisfy the condition of normalization. So any wave function, if it is not normalized, then it can be made a normalized wave function by multiplying it by a certain constant. Now what is the importance of this normalized wave function? So generally the amplitude of the wave function is arbitrary. It is not a constant, but after normalization, the normalized wave function which is obtained as the solution of Schrodinger's wave equation, its amplitude has become a constant, or it has obtained a fixed value. Thus, the importance of normalization of a wave function, or to obtain a normalized wave function, the importance is that the amplitude of the normalized wave function becomes constant or fixed. It no longer remains arbitrary. So if a function is normalized, wave function is normalized, then it has a constant amplitude or fixed amplitude. And for a wave function which is not normalized, the amplitude is not constant. Next, we see the characteristics of a well-behaved wave function. What are well-behaved wave function? So a wave function psi is said to be well-behaved if it satisfies certain following conditions. The first condition is that the wave function psi, it should be finite, it should be single valued, and it should be continuous at every point in the space. So finite, single valued, and continuous nature. This is the first characteristics of a well-behaved wave function. The second characteristics is that the first order derivative of psi should exist. Means what? D psi upon dx, d psi upon dy, d psi upon dz. These first order derivatives should exist, and these derivatives should also be finite, single valued, and continuous at every point in the space. So the wave function psi should be finite, single valued, and continuous. At the same time, its first order derivatives should also exhibit the same characteristics. And the wave function psi should be such that it can be normalized. So if these three conditions are satisfied, then the wave function psi which satisfies these three conditions, it is called a well-behaved wave function. So these are the characteristics of well-behaved wave function. Now, if psi1 and psi2 are two functions such that integration minus infinity to infinity psi1 star psi2 dv is equal to 0, or integration minus infinity to infinity psi2 star psi1 dv is equal to 0, then such wave functions which satisfy this condition, they are called orthonormal wave functions. Orthonormal wave functions. So if two functions are such that integration minus infinity to infinity psi1 star psi2 dv is equal to 0, or integration minus infinity to infinity psi2 star psi1 dv is equal to 0, then they are orthonormal wave functions. This is another characteristics of wave function psi. Now see a particular example. If psi1 which is a function of position x and t, and psi2 which is a function of position x and t, are solution of Schrodinger's wave equation for a given potential function v, capital V, then we have to show that their addition psi is equal to a1 psi1 plus a2 psi2 is also a solution where a1 and a2 are constant. So consider the Schrodinger's wave equation for wave function psi1. It can be written as minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square psi1 upon del x square plus v of psi1. This is equal to I h cross del psi1 upon del t. So multiplying by constant a1 on both the sides, you will get minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square upon del x square a1 psi1. a1 is a constant. You can take it inside the derivative process. Plus v a1 psi1. This is equal to I h cross del t of a1 psi1. This is our equation 1. Now if you write the Schrodinger's wave equation for wave function psi 2, it can be written as minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square upon del x square psi 2 plus v of psi 2. This is equal to I h cross del t of psi 2. So multiply by the constant a2 on both the sides. We get minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square upon del x square a2 psi 2 plus v a2 psi 2. This is equal to I h cross del t of a2 psi 2. This is equation 2. Now add both the equations 1 and 2. So if you add these two equations and if you take out the common terms outside, then you get the final equation will be minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square upon del x square a1 psi 1 plus a2 psi 2 plus v a1 psi 1 plus a2 psi 2. This is equal to I h cross del t of a1 psi 1 plus a2 psi 2. So this equation now takes the form. If you put psi is equal to a1 psi 1 plus a2 psi 2, this equation takes the form minus h cross whole square divided by twice m del square psi upon del x square plus v of psi. This is equal to I h cross del psi upon del t. Hence a1 psi 1 psi is equal to a1 psi 1 plus a2 psi 2. This addition also satisfies the Schrodinger's wave equation. Hence we have proved the example. So that's all about the wave function psi.